saw you standing in the open field, sunlight resting on your hair. The wind was moving through the quiet sky, but I only felt you there. You didn't say a single word, you didn't need to call my name. Your eyes was already reaching mine before our footsteps came. And I was running through the golden afternoon, like every road I've ever known was leading me to you. I was running with my heart wide open, no fear, no doubt, just the sound of us breathing in a moment. The grass was bending as we crossed the earth beneath our feet. The world was small and far away, where your arms and mine would meet. Your laughter carried through the air, soft and wild and free. I never knew how light love felt until it ran to me. And I was running through the fading summer light, like time had waited patiently for this very sight. Every quiet dream I had suddenly came true. So if tomorrow fades away and seasons start to change, I'll always find that open field where we were unafraid, still running through the endless blue, still falling every time I look at you. Still running into your arms again, as if love has just begun. We didn't speak after the running stopped. Your hands were still around me, like they were afraid to drop.
The wind had slowed, the sky turned pale. The world that once was rushing now moved without a sound.
I could hear your breathing,
soft against my skin,
like the quiet after thunder,
when peace begins. And when the world fell quiet,
it was only you and me. No distant noise, no passing time, just how love is meant to be.
when the world It isn't in the loudest words, but in the way you stood.
Your fingers traced the edge of mine, not asking for forever,
just asking for this time.
There was no promise spoken, no vow beneath the sky,
but something deeper settled in the silence of your eyes.
And when the world fell quiet, I felt my heart grow still,
not frozen by the cold of fear, but resting by your will.
When the world fell quiet,
the future didn't matter,
the past it lost its weight
in the softness of your laughter.
If love has a sound, it isn't in the storm,
it's in the quiet space where two souls feel warm.
So stay like this,
without a word.
let silence be the sweetest thing we've heard.
And when the world grows louder
and days begin to race, I'll remember how it felt
to stand in your embrace. When the world fell quiet and I knew I was home. You were looking at the sky like it held a secret there, your fingers loosely holding mine like you didn't know I cared. The wind had grown so gentle, even time moved slow, and something in my chest that night was ready to let go. I almost told you everything I feel, how every quiet moment with you becomes too real. I almost told you when you turned to smile that I have loved you softly for more than just a while. Your shoulder brushed against my own, a spark I couldn't hide. I wondered if you felt it too, or if it lived inside. You laughed about the smallest things, the way you always do, and I was falling deeper in the silence next to you. I almost told you when the stars came out that loving you so quietly is washed away my doubt. I almost told you, but the words fragile little paper boats, afraid of something real. If I had been braver, would you have stayed? Or would the truth have changed the sweetness that we made? So I kept my heart folded in my hands, letting the night do what it understands. You leaned your head upon my arm, like it was meant to be. And in that gentle borrowed space, you felt so close to me. I almost told you when you closed your eyes that I could stay forever in this quiet disguise. I almost told you, but maybe love is this, not always spoken loudly, but trembling on the lips. So if one day you ask me when it all began, I'll smile and say it started in a silence you never even planned.
You thought I didn't notice the way your voice would shake when silence grew too heavy for either heart to break. You looked away so softly, like love was something new. But every time you held your breath, I was holding mine too. I knew before you spoke it, before the words were near, before your hands grew restless or your eyes began to fear. I knew before you told me, before you found the nerve, that something gentle and unspoken was more than we deserved. The way you stayed a little longer when the night was almost done, the way your fingers lingered like you didn't want to run. You tried to hide it in your laughter, in the stories you would tell. But love has quiet footsteps, and I heard them very well. I knew before you spoke it, I saw it in your smile, the way it trembled slightly, but only for a while. I knew before you told me, you didn't have to say, that every time we parted, you wish that I would stay. And I was just as frightened of changing what we were, afraid one fragile sentence would make the sweetness blur. So I let the silence hold us like a secret in the dark. Two hearts beating carefully around a single spark. I knew before you spoke it, and still I let it be. Because sometimes love grows stronger in quiet honesty. But if you ever whisper the truth you almost said, I'll meet you in that moment with nothing left unsaid. We were walking slowly, like the night was made of glass, careful not to break it, letting quiet moments pass.
Your shoulder brushed against me, and neither of us moved. Like even air between us had something left to prove.
I could feel the distance narrowing with time. Every step beside you was a quiet kind of climb.
I didn't dare to look at you, afraid of what I'd see.
But my heart was beating louder than it ever should have been. And then your hand found mine, not searching, not by chance, just resting there so softly like it had always been its plan. Your hand found mine, no words were needed then. The world kept turning somewhere, but we were still within. Your fingers close around me, slow and unaware, like you were testing something fragile in the air. I felt my breath grow shallow, the sky seemed closer too. I never knew how warm it felt to belong beside you. I thought that I would tremble,
I thought that I would tremble,
or somehow pull away,
or somehow pull away.
but something steady held me
And told my fear to stay.
and told my fear to stay.
There was no grand confession, no promise in the dark, just skin against skin and a quiet spark. When your hand found mine, time forgot its name. Every little doubt I had didn't feel the same. When your hand found mine, I understood at last. Love doesn't always shout, sometimes it simply asks.
If tomorrow changes us, or takes us far apart.
I'll remember how it felt when you first touched my heart.
And if the words come later
and courage finds its place,
I'll still go back to this.
Your fingers in my embrace. When your hand found mine, the night grew warm and wide. And in that gentle moment, we had nothing left to hide.
The sky was heavy that afternoon, clouds hanging low and wide. You walked beside me quietly, but something changed inside.
The air was colder than before, though summer wasn't gone. And every word we almost said felt fragile and withdrawn.
I tried to find the reason
In the silence of your eyes,
but questions fall like rainfall
without a clear reply. Your fingers still were holding mine, but not the way they had. Like something soft between us had quietly turned sad.
It wasn't thunder, it wasn't a storm, just little drops where warmth
Was warm like rain between us,
falling slow, not enough to leave, but enough to know. You said you were just tired,
and nothing was wrong, but I could
feel a distance growing all along. The grass we crossed was darker,
the wind no longer lied.
and even when you looked at me, your smile didn't stay bright. I never meant to hurt you,
Or make the moment fade,
but sometimes fear speaks louder.
and the promises we made,
I held your hand a little tighter,
afraid that you might see the doubts I never wanted to let grow inside of me.
It wasn't anger,
It wasn't goodbye, just quiet questions we let pass by. Like rain between us, soft and thin, not enough to end, but enough to begin. If love is only sunlight, it wouldn't feel this real. Maybe rain is needed to know what hearts can heal. So let it fall around us, let the gray skies stay. If we can stand together, we'll find the light again someday. Like rain between us, falling slow. We didn't run, we let it show. And when the clouds grew thinner
and daylight broke through,
your hand was still in mine, and mine was still in you.
the years have moved around us like leaves along the ground. We didn't even notice when seasons turned their sound. The laughter grew more gentle, the nights a little slow, but something in your quiet eyes still lets me know. It's the way you still look at me, like nothing's changed at all, like I'm the same young foolish heart you once chose to call. The way you still look at me across a crowded room, like love is not a passing thing, but something that still blooms. We don't run through open fields, we don't stay up all night, we don't speak in trembling tones beneath the silver light. But when you reach across the bed, half asleep unaware, your hand still finds my shoulder like it belongs right there. It's the way you still look at me when I don't say a word, like every silent thought I have is somehow gently heard. The way you still look at me after all this time, like love was never loud at all, just steady and kind. We've had our quiet mornings and days that felt too long. We've walked through passing shadows without a written song. But even in the smallest things, like pouring morning tea, you glance at me and softly smile, and I still feel 16. It's the way you still look at me that keeps my heart at ease. Not fireworks or grand displays, just simple memories. And if one day the lights grow dim and voices fade away, I'll hold on to that single look that never went astray. the way you still look at me, like I am still your choice. Not because the world is loud, but because we found our voice. You're standing by the window, light falling on your hair, laughing with somebody like I'm not even there. I told myself it's nothing, just another passing phase. But every time you turn around, my heart begins to race. From across the room I learn the shape of you, the way you tilt your head when someone says something new. From across the room I memorize your smile, like maybe one day it could belong to me a while. You brush your hand against your dress when you start to feel shy, and every time you look away I wonder if you sigh. I built 1,000 conversations that never leave my mind, every word rehearsed in silence, every pause refined. From across the room I stay where I can see, close enough to feel you there, too far for you to see me. From across the room I hold my breath again, like courage is a fragile thing that slips through trembling hands. You don't know my name or how my nights begin, with thoughts of how your laughter finds its way within. If I were braver, would I cross that floor? Would I break this quiet distance, standing at your door? Or maybe love is sometimes meant to stay unseen, a soft and distant melody that plays between. From across the room I'll watch you walk away, pretend it doesn't matter, like I'm fine this way. From across the room I'll keep this little flame, not every love is spoken, not every heart claims.
You sit across the table like this is nothing new, talking about the weather like I don't watch you. You laugh at your own stories, you never seem to see the way my hands grow restless when you look at me. If you only knew how quiet my heart becomes every time you say my name so casually, like it's nothing. you stay a while. You ask me what I'm thinking, I say, oh, nothing much. But everything inside of me is burning at your touch. If you only knew how long I've held this in, like a fragile little secret beneath my skin. If you only knew how brave I try to seem, while every simple conversation feels like a dream. I watch the way you walk away and tell myself I'm fine, that some loves are meant to stay between the lines. You say I'll see you tomorrow, like tomorrow's guaranteed. But what I'd give to hear you say you need me. If you only knew how loud silence can be, when the one you want so close is just beyond your reach. If you only knew I crossed that distance too. If love were something I could quietly show you. But until that day comes, or maybe never does, I'll sit across from you and call this almost love.
Do you remember the corner store where we would stand not buying anything at all, just talking about
Impossible dreams, like the world was ours at 17.
you wore that ribbon in your hair,
And every time the wind would blow, you'd pretend not to care.
we walked too close then stepped apart.
Like we were learning how to start. Back when love was new,
And every touch was fire,
every little glance.
set our hearts a little higher,
Back when love was new,
and nothing felt unsure.
we didn't know forever, but we believed in more. We'd race down streets for no reason at all,
Laughing too loud, afraid to fall.
Your hand would reach,
Then pull away,
like holding mine.
might give you away.
We never said the words out loud, but silence then was still so proud. A simple look, a tilted head was all the poetry we said. Back when love was new,
The sky was always blue,
even cloudy days.
felt bright because of you.
Back when love was new,
We didn't need a plan,
just a place to sit and time in our hands. Now years have passed like turning pages. We've grown into different stages, but sometimes I still close my eyes and can see us young beneath those skies. New, it lives somewhere inside a small bright summer we never really left behind.
We met where no one watches, between the light and shade, where whispers turn to promises, too dangerous to say.
Your name was never spoken above a careful tone, but every step that led to you felt like coming home.
Only the night knew what we dared to feel. Only the stars heard the truths we couldn't reveal. Only the night knew how our hands would shake when love is something the daylight cannot take. They said our worlds were different, drawn in separate lines, that love must learn its limits and hearts obey the signs.
But when your fingers found my wrist, like fate had drawn them there, the walls we were surrounded by felt lighter in the
air. Only the night knew how softly you would say that if tomorrow never comes, you love me anyway. Only the night knew the courage in your eyes, a fragile kind of bravery, too tender to disguise. We didn't speak of endings, we didn't speak of blame. We only knew that turning back would never feel the same.
If love must live in shadow, then let it live in truth. For even stolen moments are beautiful in youth.
Only the night knew how close our hearts could be, in a world that wasn't ready for you and me.
And if the dawn divides us and pulls our hands apart, The night will keep our secret safe inside its dark.
It's been a while since we last spoke, long enough for pride to turn into smoke. We stand here now like strangers do, with memories we both still knew. You look the same, but something's changed. There's quiet in the space we've named. I almost smile, you almost do, like we're not sure what's safe to move. Should I say I love you again, or let the silence win? Should I cross this fragile line and let you back within? Should I say I love you again, like nothing ever broke? Or would the words fall differently than when we last spoke? We talk about the passing years, the jobs, the towns, the hidden tears. But underneath the careful tone, there's something neither left alone. Your hand moves slightly near my sleeve, like it remembers how to believe. I feel the echo in my chest of every night I loved you best. Should I say I love you again and risk the air between? Should I let my guarded heart be softer than it's been? Should I say I love you again, not loudly, not in haste, but gently like a photograph we never quite replaced? If love is brave, then let it show. If love is wise, it moves in slow. So here I stand, without defense, no perfect line, no grand pretense. If I say I love you again, it won't be like before. It will be quieter, but somehow more. We met like something written
in a story we believed.
Every look was certain,
every promise we conceived.
We thought that love was simple,
if the feeling was sincere.
but sometimes hearts can be too close
And still not be prepared.
It wasn't that we didn't care, it wasn't that we tried, it wasn't lack of love between the nights we held each other tight.
It was the wrong time for us,
The wrong kind of place,
two people wanting forever. But walking a different pace. You dreamed of distant cities,
I feared what change could do.
you needed open skies.
I needed something true.
I asked for understanding
When you needed certainty,
and every small misunderstanding
grew quietly. We loved like it was endless.
we heard like it was fate.
We held on longer than we should, and let go far too late. It was the wrong time for us,
The wrong kind of way.
two hearts that beat together,
but couldn't learn to stay. I still remember mornings where everything felt right.
how strange that something beautiful
Could slowly lose its light.
I never meant to leave you.
I never meant to stay.
Half of me was running,
The other begged to stay.
it wasn't that we didn't love, or that we didn't try. Sometimes the truest feeling
Still has to say goodbye.
it was the wrong time for us, and maybe that's enough.
To know we once were everything, even if it wasn't love.
are not perfect. We never were. We've stumbled through every unsure word.
We've had our silences longer than they should be. We've watched our shadows fall between you and me.
But we who love
know how to stay,
even when the light
begins to fade away.
We who love
learn how to bend. Not every broken moment has to mean the end. There were nights we turned away, back to back, with nothing to say.
But even then,
I felt your heart
still reaching out in the dark. We who love
do not pretend
that every scar
we're always meant.
But we who love
still choose to try to hold the truth instead of pride.
I've seen you tired,
I've seen you weak.
not every promise easy to keep. I've heard your doubts, I've felt your fear. Still something steady keeps us here.
We who love
I'm not afraid of weathered skies or colors that fade. We who love understand that forever isn't magic. It's a hand
in a hand.
not fireworks, not grand display.
Just choosing you each passing day.
We who love will rise above, not because it's easy, but because we love.
And if the world grows cold and wide, and doubts begin to move,
We'll still be standing. We who love.
we who love.
The ones who just found a hand to hold, who feel the spark but don't yet know how long it lasts or where it goes, how soft it starts,
How deep it grows to the hearts that beat a little too fast, afraid to move, too sure to pass. You don't need to understand, just let love take your hand.
For those just beginning, don't rush the flame. Let it flicker softly, let it learn your name. For those just beginning,
It's alright to fear.
the bravest kind of love is the one that's sincere.
You'll stumble, you will doubt, you'll question what it's all about. But
Don't let silence turn to space. Stay close enough. just this way, with nothing more than can you stay? For those just beginning, take it slow. Love is not a race to know. For those just beginning, hold on tight. Not to keep, but to feel it right. There will be mornings, unmade beds, half-finished words, and things unsaid. There will be seasons hard to stand. Just don't forget to reach your hand. For those just beginning, let it be true. Love is not perfect, it's choosing you. For those just beginning, let this prove the smallest start can move the world when two hearts choose to move. There's a map on the wall with a line drawn thin between where you are and where I've been. Two cities breathing different air, two windows opening nowhere near. Your morning sun is my midnight sky. You say good day as I say goodbye. But somehow the hours bend and meet again where our voices blend. Miles between, but heart the same. Distance only changes the shape of your name. Miles between, but love remains like a steady light through passing trains. I trace your words across the page, not paper now, but glowing space. You tell me stories of streets I don't know, of quiet cafes and falling snow. Sometimes the silence feels too wide, like empty seats on either side. But then your laughter breaks it through, and suddenly I'm next to you. Miles between, but heart the same. Every mile still calls my name. Miles between, but I don't fear, because when I close my eyes, you're here. We count the days, not as loss, but steps we take across the cost,
Love isn't measured by how near, but by the will to stay sincere. And when at last the miles are gone and I can see the place you're from, I'll run toward you without delay, as if we never moved away.
You walk beside him like you always have, your hand in his, you both just laugh. And I stand close but far away, pretending this is just another day. He talks about you like something rare, and I nod slowly like I don't care. But every time you say my name, something inside me isn't the same. I shouldn't feel this way, I know the line we drew. He was there before I was, and he still stands with you. I shouldn't feel this way, it wasn't meant to start. But feelings don't ask permission before they reach the heart. You look at me too long sometimes, and I look down like that's a crime. Maybe it's nothing, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this ache won't last too long. He trusts me like a brother should. He'd never guess, and I never would. But when you speak and softly smile, the air between us stays a while. I shouldn't feel this way, and yet I do. It's not about betrayal, it's just the truth. I shouldn't feel this way, but hearts don't choose their place. They simply turn towards warmth, they recognize a face. So I will step back, I will stay still, I will bury this against my will. Because some loves are never meant to be confessed or even spent. I shouldn't feel this way, and I won't let it show. Some feelings are meant to quietly let go. I still remember how you looked that day, standing by the doorway, like you might walk away. You didn't ask for promises, you didn't shout or cry. You only waited quietly for me to try. I said, maybe later. I said, give it time. As if love were something I could rearrange in my mind. I thought that staying careful would keep us safe somehow, but safety is a lonely thing. I understand that now. I wasn't brave enough to say the words out loud, to hold you when you needed me, to stand against the crowd. I wasn't brave enough to choose you without fear, so you chose silence and disappeared. You gave me every opening, every gentle sign, but I was busy guarding what I thought was mine. I called it being cautious, I called it being wise, but really it was trembling behind my own disguise. I wasn't brave enough to risk what love might cost. I let you drift beyond my reach and told myself you're lost. I wasn't brave enough to let my armor fall. Now I walk these empty rooms and hear your footsteps in the hall. You never blamed me, you never fought, you simply faded like a thought. And now the quiet says your name with every breath and every shame. If I could meet you once again, I wouldn't speak so small. I'd tell you love is worth the fall, worth losing pride and all. But time does not return for us, it only shows what could have been. And I am left with what I know, that love was there, and I let it go. Love never asked too much of me, it only asked to stay, to speak a truth I chose to hide and slowly walk away. It wasn't cruel, it wasn't blind, it stood there in plain sight. But I kept building careful walls and called my distance right. I failed my own heart before it failed me. I turned away from open hands and called it dignity. I failed my own heart when I chose control over something wild and warm that wanted to make me whole. You never made it difficult, you only asked me near, but closeness felt like danger, and danger felt like fear. So I mistook my trembling for wisdom grown with age. But really it was cowardice behind a quiet stage. I failed my own heart by fearing what was real, by measuring every word you said instead of how I feel. I failed my own heart, and now I understand. Love is never lost by chance, it slips from tightened hands. I blamed the timing, blamed the space, blamed every passing day, but the mirror knows the truest thing. I let it fade away. If love ever finds me again, standing at my door, I pray I won't be smaller than I have been before. Because the hardest truth I know is simple from the start. You didn't break my courage, I broke my heart. When I look back on younger days, I see two shadows in summer haze. We didn't know how fast time runs. We thought our story had just begun. There were fields of gold and borrowed nights, and quiet talks under simple lights. There were words we said and words we missed, moments that fade but still exist. When I look back, I don't feel pain, just a softer kind of gentle rain. Not every love is meant to stay, but every love leaves light in some way. I see your smile in distant towns, in crowded rooms, in passing sounds. I hear your laugh in evening air, and sometimes turn as if you're there. When I look back, I understand isn't something we command. It comes, it grows, it changes shape, it gives, it leaves, it doesn't break. If I had known what I know now, would I have stayed? Would I have bowed? Perhaps, perhaps. But time moves on, and what we were is never gone. When I look back, I see who I became. Through every loss, through every flame, you were not mine to hold forever, but you were mine for that small summer. And that is enough.